Thank you for joining us for the USC Rossier 2021 DSAG Awards. Now, please join me in welcoming our host for tonight's awards program, Dave Cash.
Good evening, Trojans, and welcome to the 2021 DSAG Awards. Though most of us can recognize, I tried to channel Dr. Greg Franklin as he is our usual host for this wonderful event. But we thought it would be most appropriate for him to have a different seat tonight since we get to honor him. And although we're unable to gather in person, we're very excited to have so many of you joining us virtually because the DSAG Awards is a celebration of DSAG. Tonight, we will award 4 scholarships to current Rossier EDD students. We'll recognize our DSAG partners who have helped grow our DSAG Endowed Scholarship Fund, unbelievably so. And most importantly, we'll honor this year's DSAG Hall of Fame inductee, Greg Franklin. This year, we welcome 10 new Trojan Superintendents to the group. They are Rebecca Andrade, Jill Baker, Elizabeth Emmenheiser, Cheryl Hildreth, Alfonso Jimenez, John Lopez, Raul Ramirez, Jennifer Root, Tim Stowe, and Julie Senard. To all of you, welcome to DSAG. And what a year to become a first-time superintendent, my goodness. Now, I would like to introduce Pedro Naguera, the Dean of the USC Rossier School of Education, who began his tenure as dean this last July. A sociologist, Dean Nogueira's research focuses on the ways in which schools are influenced by social and economic conditions, as well as by demographic trends and local, regional, and global context. He is the author, co-author, and editor of 13 books and has published over 250 research articles in academic journals, book chapters, edited volumes, research reports, and many, many editorials in major newspapers. Now, prior to being appointed Dean of the USC Rossier School of Education, Dr. Nogueira served as the Distinguished Professor of Education at the Graduate School of Education and Information Studies at that other university in Los Angeles. Before joining the faculty at UCLA, he served as a tenured professor and holder of endowed chairs at New York University, Harvard University, and the University of California, Berkeley. Please join me now in welcoming Dean Pedro Naguera.
Thank you, Dave, and good evening, Trojans. It's such a pleasure to be with you, and I really do wish we could be together sharing a meal and some drinks as we honor tonight's awardees, but not to be yet. But hopefully next year, this time, we will be together. Let me start by congratulating the DSAG scholars, Christopher Brown, William Gideon, Lita Mallet. It is just really great to see you getting the support so that you can continue on your leadership journey. And so I want to just congratulate you for that award. I also want to congratulate the DSAG 2021 Scholar in Partnership with TeleQ, Karen Mercado, who's also received an important scholarship for her education. So let's all give a virtual hand to these awardees. Now let me say some words about Greg Franklin, our friend and colleague, an educational leader whose contributions to Rossier have been so significant. Greg, as many of you know, has been the superintendent of Tucson for several years. He's also been on our board of counselors and played a leadership role as a chair of DSAG, which has flourished under his watch. He has been just an exceptional leader in his district and across the state, providing mentorship to other superintendents and to students in our leadership program. Greg is known for his service, for his generosity, and for his integrity as a leader. And he is so deserving of this recognition. Greg, you'll get a moment to come up and say a few words later, but I just want to add my own words of appreciation for all that you have done for so many years. Let me also say a few words about DSAG itself, because all of you, and the fact that so many of you have come out to this virtual event says a lot about your commitment to this organization. You play such an important role in continuing our work in supporting our students, these educational leaders that Rossier is so proud of. I can't tell you how often I mention the fact that we are responsible for producing so many of the leaders and superintendents in this state. And as I just look at the names, so many of you who I know and are familiar with your work, I can say with great honesty that this is a tremendous source of pride for me and for all of Rossier. So especially now when our schools are faced with so many challenges, trying to provide support to children, many of whom have become discouraged by the length of this pandemic, and their parents, as well as your staff who are so worried about this virus for good reason and concerned about the process of reopening. You are the comforter in chief. You are the one that the community turns to, especially when there's insufficient guidance coming from the state or the federal government. And so I just want to commend you for the role you play at this critical time in providing leadership in our communities. I want to particularly thank the current superintendents who are out there on the front lines. And I know there are many on this Zoom call who have taken time away from work. Some of you are probably trying to get some emails done even as you listen, because it is hard to end the day and to devote time to other matters when you know so many are looking to you. So thank you for being with us today. As you know, like the superintendents we just introduced, I too started this role while working from home during the pandemic. I've only had a chance to meet a few of my colleagues in person at Rossier, but Zoom works, and I've gotten to know many of the faculty and staff at Rossier. Sadly, not many of our students, because at this time at least, I'm not teaching. But I do want to say that I believe Rossier will continue to be a force in the state and beyond for educational change and improvement throughout our country and the world. Under my leadership and with the support of our staff and faculty, we're going to take on 3 significant initiatives that you'll be hearing more about, both through our magazine and newsletter, but hopefully participating in via more Zoom. The first is called A New Vision for Schools and Why the Time is Now. Those of you familiar with CCEE will get a chance to hear me speak at length about this. But as we know, disruption can also be an opportunity for change. And we want to make sure that as we think about reopening, we don't spend all our time thinking exclusively about the logistics of doing so safely, though clearly that's important. We also have to think about equity, how to make sure we're serving all of our kids, knowing full well that our most vulnerable students have been hardest hit by this pandemic, both in terms of their health, but also in terms of the economic impact. And we want to make sure that our schools are going to be supportive to address those mental health needs and the social needs that so many of our kids have faced as a result of this prolonged quarantine and isolation. And we know that mental health issues have been rising throughout the country. Finally, we're also thinking, how do we make school more engaging? If anything, we've learned during this pandemic that if kids are not motivated, they will simply tune out, even when they have access to the internet and to screen devices. Our education has to be compelling. It has to tap into their natural curiosity to learn. Think about the kids who can't put down those video games. We've got to find a way to make learning as compelling, because the fact is that if we don't, we will continue to lose many students. And probably like many of you, I am very concerned by the large numbers who are choosing not to apply to college at this time, because we know that many may put college off indefinitely. Our second initiative, and we're ready to launch it this summer, is a teacher residency program for Los Angeles. We want to be good neighbors to LA, and we want to make sure that the next generation of teachers, particularly teachers in STEM fields, come from USC. We know that the best model for doing that is a residency-based program, where teachers are being trained in schools with the supportive faculty who work closely with the school to provide new teachers with support. This helps in reducing the high turnover amongst our teachers, but it also helps in providing the wisdom that only veteran teachers can provide in the context of the classroom. You'll be learning more about this initiative as well. Finally, we are launching something we call the Democracy Project. As many of us know, since the election and the insurrection at the Capitol, our democracy is not something we can take for granted. If kids do not understand our history, do not understand civics, and are not prepared as citizens, we are all in trouble. I often say that the future of this country is not going to be determined by what happens in Washington. It's going to be determined by what happens in our schools. Our schools are so critical to democracy. Thomas Jefferson knew this from the very beginning, but it's something we can't take for granted. So I want you to think about your curriculum and the time that's spent on teaching civics, but beyond civics, the time that's spent on teaching our kids to think critically so that they're able to distinguish between real news based in fact and fake news designed to manipulate. This is a critical part of becoming a democratic citizen in a democratic society. And so you'll learn more about all three of these initiatives in the coming weeks and months, but this is part of our effort to make sure that Rossier will have an impact on our state and our nation as a whole. Finally, I want to thank all the DSAG members, particularly those of you who've been able to contribute to the Scholarship Fund for the Future of Educational Leaders, and our sponsors. I have to say that without you, this work would not be possible. Like our honoree, Greg Franklin, you all play a critical role in supporting our commitment to educating the next generation of leaders. You refer many of our strong applicants to us, and many of them are now hold positions of leadership within our districts. I want to encourage you to continue to stay connected, to stay involved, to send us messages, let us know how we're doing and what more we can do to be a source of support to you out there in the field. Thank you for your support to Rossier. Thank all of you for the work you do as leaders at this critical juncture in our nation. We will get through this. Let's get through this better than we were before. Fight on.
Wow, thank you, Dean Nogueira, for those inspiring words and also for joining us this evening. And on behalf of DSAG, I can say we're very excited to be working with you on the initiatives that you've outlined in your remarks. Now, the rapid growth of the DSAG Endowed Scholarship Fund has been made possible by our incredibly supportive and loyal partners. Please join me now and my fellow DSAG members as we salute our partners.
For the Dean Superintendent Advisory Group, partnerships are essential to the work we do in our districts and at the USC Rossier School of Education. As superintendents, we see the needs in education and work tirelessly to address them daily. With that in the forefront of our minds, it is the goal of DSAG to provide the education pipeline with innovative, accountable, and diverse leaders, and it's with our partners' support that we are able to award scholarships year after year to the best and brightest aspiring superintendents. Today, we recognize our 2021 DSAG Partners contributions.
Our gold partners, Balfour Beatty and PFMG Solar, race to the table to support this evening's event. We appreciate their ongoing support and investment in our educational leaders. Both partners have had a broad impact throughout Southern California and beyond. Let's take a moment now to learn more about what they do.
You know, one of the things that Balfour Beatty does is when you're working with them, they don't just come in and don't just do a job. They actually become a partner with you as a district. They absorb and they adopt the community and what's happening in the community and are incredibly supportive.
It's a partnership. There's a lot of unity, a lot of collaboration, and certainly more than just we're doing construction for your building. We're actually going to partner with you through the process so that the end goal is met, which are these just fantastic spaces.
Anytime I've called and said, hey, we need help with this, or we need a little more support for our bond, is there anything you could do, or how can we make this project stronger or better, Balfour Beatty has consistently stepped up to the plate and made sure that we had what we needed. And so I appreciate that incredibly, to be able to have that relationship.
We don't see them as a contractor. We don't see them as a sub-employee. We see them as part of the team. So the interaction that they've built with our site team, our construction crew, our oversight administrators, and the Balfour Beatty team, it just seems like we're just all one team.
I feel like I can call Balfour and have them be a partner in problem solving. I know there's a lot of complex issues with construction, and they've been a valuable partner in helping us weigh options and pick the one that's right for us.
Clients and partners and maybe future clients out there, thank you very much for your support. We truly love working with all of you, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks again.
I spoke with, and this isn't exaggeration, I spoke with over 12 different solar companies. And when PFMG Solar came along, in my mind, I thought that this was going to be just another solar company. Obviously, they proved me wrong. Not only did we see that this met our needs financially, and it made sense for us to go in this direction, but beyond that, we established a partnership with a company that cares about this district, cares about our students beyond their contract requirements. They don't have to do the things that they're doing, but they're providing scholarships, they're providing help in the classroom, and once again, we are fortunate to be partners with PFMG Solar.
Balfour Beatty Construction has been a great partner to the Tustin Unified School District, having built about half of our schools and remodeled the rest. They've been a terrific partner not only in the construction, but also in the planning and thinking about solving complex problems. Most recently, Balfour Beatty has built the Tustin Legacy Magnet Academy, our newest school that opened this year on the old Tustin Marine Corps Air Station. It's a very complex building design, and it is one of the most beautiful I've ever seen. I highly recommend Balfour Beatty Construction, not just as a construction management company, but as a true partner. It's a pleasure to introduce PFMG Solar to the group. PFMG Solar has been working with Tustin Unified since 2016, and we did that in phases. The first phase, we picked the schools that were the easiest ones to accommodate these large solar panels that have created wonderful shade in parking lots and over play spaces. And they were so popular, we had schools and neighborhoods demanding additional solar panels at all of the rest of the schools. PFMG Solar has also provided instructional materials for our students, and they've been a truly super partner, lowering our energy costs at no upfront expenses. Thank you, PFMG Solar.
Our Cardinal partners, who are not only supporting us today, but have done so year after year, play a critical role allowing the DSAG Scholars Program to grow and thrive. On behalf of the current and past DSAG Scholars, thank you.
Since 1978, Jones Hall has been helping school districts and other public agencies finance public infrastructure through a practice devoted exclusively to municipal bond law. They have a staff of specialists devoted to all aspects of your bond program, from pre-election, bond financing, and following up for years to ensure your program is legally compliant. Every year, Jones Hall ranks among the top bond counsel firms in California. They attribute their success to the responsive service they provide each and every client, whether their issues are big or small, or whether they are frequent or infrequent issuers. After working with them personally, I can attest to their expertise, commitment, and counsel. I first met them as a superintendent in a small district, and later worked with them in a large district with multiple bond issuances. Their communication skills are outstanding, and they will quickly return your emails or phone calls with the information you need to make decisions. One of the best aspects of working with them is that they are well known in our state, and they know how to work collaboratively with your bond team. I highly recommend working with Jones Hall. They help build California schools.
I have the honor to introduce the law offices of Margaret Chidester and Associates. Maggie and her husband, Stephen, need no introduction because they are valued and well-known members of the Trojan family. Their dedication and generosity towards USC are unparalleled. Maggie has shown her commitment in many ways as part of governance, as a student, and as a professor, as well as a football season ticket holder. Maggie is a pioneer in the establishment of education law as a foundational legal practice. Her law office is a recognized leading educational law practice throughout the state. As a former kindergarten teacher, Maggie's firm's philosophy uses the tools of law to support student success. Under Stephen's leadership, the firm has become a premier firm in the state addressing charter petitions and other charter concerns. Whether early morning or late at night, Maggie is available and willing to support superintendents, especially Trojan leaders. I can personally attest Maggie serves more roles than a lawyer. Maggie is a mentor, a confidant, and a friend to Trojan leaders, including myself, and many, many more throughout the state. Thank you, and fight on.
It is a great honor to introduce and recognize LPA Architects to the University of Southern California Dean Superintendent Advisory Group. LPA has been a longtime sponsor of DSAG, and they also have a significant relationship to USC, as John Mills, their Chief Operating Officer, is a lifelong Trojan. Importantly, LPA Architects are deeply invested in designing innovative and sustainable learning environments for our students here in California. They are an award-winning architecture firm, having recently received the highest award from the American Institute of Architects, where they won the Top Educational Facility Design Award for a school right here in Irvine. I know winning awards is important, but from a superintendent's perspective, what is more important are the great people at LPA, their innovative ideas, and their willingness to listen. In fact, probably that what they do best is to listen. They listen to you as the superintendent, and they listen to your community. They understand how important it is to actively engage with your community, whether they are master planning, designing, or supporting the building of schools in your district. As a superintendent, you do face an onslaught of solicitations for your building programs, and there are some good architecture firms in California. However, and this is a big however, no other firm can plan, design, and then support your building programs like LPA. And remember, what they bring to every project they work on is the spirit of Troy. So fight on, LPA Architects.
I've been given the opportunity tonight to recognize Parent Square as a valued partner. We've learned many lessons as we continue to navigate through COVID-19 pandemic. Two of these lessons are the importance of communication and innovation in leadership, validated for their value and significance. Parent Square provides both to school districts nationwide. Parent Square allows teachers, school site principals, or district leaders to communicate with parents in multiple languages by cell phone or text message with ease for the user. This pandemic was not short on rumors, opinions, and without Parent Square allowing our district to communicate with accurate information, our community trust would have been in jeopardy. A call last May from Jay Clanpar proved to me that Parent Square is also innovative and could anticipate district needs. In an effort to help schools reopen, Parent Square created a health screening application. This application allows staff and students to self-report symptoms of COVID-19. It allows for proactive intervention on behalf of districts when it regards the symptoms of COVID-19. With no additional cost to districts, this product was provided. This product allows for health officials and district nurses to reach out and support staff and students. The fact that it was at no additional cost is a remarkable opportunity for Parent Square and their district partners. Similar products that are on the market currently have a cost between $15,000 and $25,000 that do a similar function. For that, we thank you for your partnership and your innovation. Thank you, Parent Square, and fight on.
Public Employment Retirement Services, we know as PARS, offers retirement services designed specifically for each public agency's unique needs with the underlying objective of providing superior employee benefits while increasing management effectiveness, reducing operating costs, and relieving staff administration burdens. For nearly 35 years, the PARS team has consulted with over 1,000 public agencies, administering programs that have cumulatively saved hundreds of millions of dollars in public resources. The PARS approach has been highly successful because they foster a collaborative and highly responsive service-oriented relationship with each public agency, from the beginning stages of program design and implementation through ongoing administration and beyond. I have worked with them personally in multiple districts with varying sizes and financial needs. They will customize the work to your district and always give you the best advice for moving forward. Many of you have known them for the work they do with early retirement incentives. However, they have other important services, which includes pre-funding your retiree costs. I highly recommend working with PARS. They help keep California school districts fiscally strong.
It is such a pleasure and opportunity to introduce Piper Sandler, bond consultant. But before I talk about the work they do, I want to talk about the people. You'll be working with Tim Carty, Jin Kim, and Rich Calabro, which are three of the most significant people to work with. They're good people. They're honest. They care. They care about you. They care about the process, and they care about your district. And that comes through, whether you're actually working on a bond or even in a social environment. They're just good people and great to work with. We've been very fortunate. We've sold over $100 million in bonds over the last 4 years, and it's been a very seamless process. And what can sound complicated actually has become very, very simple for us. We could not be happier with the work that they've done. Lately, our latest series bond we sold, we got the lowest interest rate in the history of our district, and we saved our taxpayers $11 million. And to say that that made them happy and our board happy would be an understatement. I cannot speak highly enough about Piper Sandler. I highly recommend them. And if you get the opportunity to meet with them and see their product, I think you'll be very happy. Thank you, and fight on.
The middle of the Great Depression might not seem like the best time to start a business, but for an organization formed to help people, it was the perfect time. School's first federal credit union was founded in 1934 as Orange County Teachers Credit Union, with 126 school employees who pooled $1,200 and established a financial institution to help improve each other's lives. The idea of the credit union caught on quickly with school employees. By the end of its second year of existence, the credit union's membership nearly doubled. School's first credit union continues to support educators at Ross Sear through contributions to our DSAG Scholarship Fund. Thank you, School's First Federal Credit Union.
Hello, everyone. I have the honor to share with you all of the great services offered by TBWBH Props and Measures. TBWBH is a strategy and communications firm. They specialize in developing revenue measures for the ballot and implementing all the communication strategies you need to help your school district achieve additional funding to support your schools and students. Berryessa has successfully partnered with TBWBH since 1998, including capturing a $98 million bond measure this past March in 2020. We look forward to continuing to partner with TBWBH for our upcoming parcel tax measure later this year. I highly recommend you take the opportunity to get to know their team. Fight on.
On behalf of DSAG, we thank you and appreciate your continued partnership. Fight on.
Now, please join me in welcoming the Fundraising Chair for the DSAG Endowed Scholarship Fund, John Roach.
Well, congratulations, Greg and Alita, Chris, and William. I'm so pleased for each of you. Now I want to thank all of you donors and sponsors who have sponsored and supported the DSAG Endowed Scholarship Fund. Your gifts make an immediate impact by providing Rosier with the necessary resources to support our aspiring superintendents. As you know, Greg challenged us to raise $1 million. And with your generous support, up to this date, we've raised $867,000 of that million. So we need an additional $133,000. I heard from Mary McNeil today, so I know we're down to $132,000. Wes, I was reading the document that showed who was speaking at the Access Superintendent Symposium this week. And I noticed that Dean Nogueira was listed as an employee of UCLA. So I think your contribution needs to increase this year. To help us reach our goal, our really wonderful and longtime supporters, Maggie and Stephen Chidester, have generously committed to match all new gifts of $100 or more. So those of you who are here tonight who haven't yet given or are watching, any gift of $100 or more will be matched by the Chidesters. I looked at how many people were attending tonight. If each of us increased our gift by $1,100 between now and the next time we come together for DSAG, we'd be finished. We'd have all the money we needed. The program would be endowed and we'd be able to give more scholarships. There's a link in the chat room for you to give. Click on the link in the chat box, make your gift now. Let's continue to build the pipeline of Trojan superintendents by providing scholarships to these deserving students. Thank you all again for all that you do for our aspiring superintendents and for the Rosier School of Education. Fight on.
Thank you, John. We really appreciate your leadership in inspiring your fellow DSAG members and other donors. The awarding of scholarships is always a highlight of the DSAG Awards. Let's now hear from Rudy Castrita, Chair of the DSAG Scholarship Selection Committee, about our 2021 DSAG Scholars.
Welcome to the DSAG Endowed Scholarship Award ceremony. The DSAG Endowed Scholarship Award is annually given to EDD students who aspire to the position of the superintendency. This is a competitive award, and scholarship recipients are determined after a careful review of applications and references. The selection committee comprises of USC Rosier faculty and volunteer DSAG members. The DSAG Endowed Scholarship is made possible by the generosity of DSAG members and dinner sponsors. A special thank you goes out to the DSAG Endowed Selection Committee. Jim Elsasser, Gunn Marie Henson, Betsy Hamilton, Catherine Kawaguchi, Mary McNeil, Stephanie Phillips, and Crystal Turner. Thank you. Our first recipient of this evening is Christopher Brown. Christopher Brown is a Southern California native raised in a family of urban educators. He received his bachelor's degree in biological sciences as well as his teaching credential from the University of California, Irvine. As a biology and chemistry teacher in Long Beach, Christopher developed a passion for educational leadership and equity, which led him to a master's degree in educational administration. Throughout his career, Christopher has been fortunate to serve numerous leadership positions, starting as a dean and progressing through program coordinator, assistant principal, high school principal, instructional director, and assistant superintendent. In each of these positions, he has served with colleagues who are passionate about education and equity. Christopher strongly believes that educators must come together in networks to solve the challenges ahead. Educational leadership is both challenging and rewarding, and he looks forward to every day.
Hello, I'm Chris Brown, a 2021 recipient of the Dean Superintendent Advisory Group Scholarship. I would like to thank the Dean Superintendent Advisory Group for their support through this scholarship, as well as all of the donors and the event sponsors that have made that support possible. I've spent the past 20 years working in a large urban school district, supporting a diverse student body with diverse needs. As a young teacher and a new leader, the disparities between student needs and outcomes always plagued me, but I was lucky to have been consistently mentored by alumni of the Rossier program, colleagues who were also working to address these disparities and to establish systems for equity. The Rossier mission prepares leaders to achieve educational equity and to solve the most intractable educational problems facing us. The program rigorously prepares its participants to become change agents in their respective systems. However, this work cannot be done in isolation, and the power of Rossier is the collaboration and connections that come from being a part of the Trojan family. For me, this has meant ongoing mentorship, encouragement, and interacting with Rossier alumni and current students who are all driven to interrogate the status quo and make changes to our educational system in order to benefit all of our students. And with that, I say, fight on.
Our next recipient is William Gideon Jr. William Gideon Jr. is the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum Instruction of the Los Nietos School District. He is a distinguished educator with over 20 years of experience. William graduated from Cal State University, Long Beach with a bachelor's degree in computer science engineering and obtained his master's degree in educational administration from California State University, Dominguez Hills. William plans to defend his dissertation in spring semester. He has developed a variety of educational programs and policies that have supported students, parents, and school districts. His past experience include mathematics, engineering, science achievement program administrator, classroom teacher, school site administrator, educational consultant, and district office director. William strives to live up to the motto of each one, teach one. His philosophy is that every student must be provided a positive atmosphere, steady leadership, an instructional program that is committed and focused on developing the whole child.
I'm very pleased and excited to have been selected as a 2021 USC Rossier School of Education DSAG recipient. I'm proud to be a product of a family that's full of educators. Growing up, my mother was an outstanding teacher and administrator in LA Unified School District, and my father was a hardworking Renaissance man and entrepreneur. Upon completing my undergraduate computer science engineering degree, my goals were to create computer programs that helped other people. In my youth, I spent many summers across the street attending programs at Exposition Park and working later at the 1984 Olympics at the USC Village. But never did I imagine then I would be on such a wonderful journey, a path to becoming a USC Rossier School of Education doctoral student. I have learned so much on this doctoral journey. After many years, I've learned how to define myself with pronouns such as he, him, and his in my first class with Dr. Conley. I learned how to eat an elephant one bite at a time, which served me well as I wrote my dissertation, thanks to Dr. Escalante. I learned two of the most important questions an administrator can ask, which are, what do you mean? And show me your evidence, from Dr. Yates. I learned that a data sandwich was more than just nerd talk for eating, but really about how to present research theories, thanks to Dr. Samkin. I have been fortunate to spend time with professionals that have committed their lives to fighting for educational equity from people like Dr. Cash. I have learned that an effective superintendent makes sure if they do something for one school board member, they have to do it for all school board members, thanks to Dr. Castrita. As my doctoral journey winds down, I am blessed to have learned and spent a lot of time with brilliant, esteemed, and accomplished professionals in the USC Rossier School of Education program. I'm even more encouraged to continue my professional journey to make sure that education is a place where every child succeeds. More importantly, I've learned to keep learning and keep helping others learn. This scholarship will help offset my financial commitments as my third son begins his college adventure in 2022. Thank you to the Dean. Thank you to the DSAG committee, faculty, sponsors, and donors. Bye now.
I would now like to welcome Lita Mallet as the next recipient of the DSAG Scholarship Award. As the founding principal of Milwaukee Excellent High School and a native of Milwaukee, Lita Mallet is working to transform the educational landscape of her city to be one of equity, diversity, and achievement. She believes in the power and the talent that Milwaukee has and is developing the young minds of today to be the leaders of our city in the future. Lita received her bachelor's degree in biomedical engineering from the University of Southern California. Upon graduating, Lita worked as an engineer in Los Angeles before transitioning into education. Lita worked with schools in LAUSD, developing their computer science programs before moving to the Bay Area to serve as a founding member of a new technology-focused high school in San Jose. Lita received her master's in education from USC before returning to Milwaukee. Currently, she serves as the principal of Milwaukee Excellence High School, and under her leadership, the school has single-handedly quadrupled the number of students taking AP Computer Science in the state of Wisconsin. Lita currently serves on the board of National Center for Women and Informational Technology in Wisconsin and is an active member in the Milwaukee Hub of Global Shapers and in her graduate chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lita Mallet, and I am the founding high school principal of Milwaukee Excellence Charter School. First, I want to say thank you to the Dean Superintendents Advisory Group for this scholarship. It is truly an honor to be amongst such great leaders who I aspire to one day become. No dreams deferred. That is the promise that I have made to my families and my students. When they leave my school after their senior year, all of the hopes, ambitions, and dreams that they came to me with in their freshman year, they will be able to accomplish. They will have choices. Life will not just happen to them. They will have agency over their lives. And USC has given that to me. I am a two-time Trojan going for a three-peat. I got my undergraduate degree in biomedical engineering, my master's in the Rossier MAT program, and now I am here in the EEL program. This program continues to make me a more reflective practitioner. I have learned how to be a responsible, impactful, and meaningful change agent and leader. I will be forever grateful for the insights that my professors have given me, many of whom are members of this group. Thank you for this honor today, and I am looking forward to the lifelong connections that will be made.
We are proud to acknowledge Telecu. Telecu is a pioneering institution committed to service, empowerment, advancement, and the creation of self-sufficiency. An important part of fulfilling Telecu's mission is to equip Latinx scholars with the tools they need to effect positive change in the communities Telecu serves. They are proud to partner with USC's Dean Superintendent Advisory Group to jointly impact the leaders of tomorrow, who in turn will have the power to generate solutions that address the educational disparity in our communities and beyond. Special recognition of this $10,000 scholarship. DSAG would like to recognize Michael Lasarga and Jay Bell for their generosity in this scholarship. To Karen Mercado.
Good evening, Trojans. I'm Jay Bell, the Senior Vice President of Telecu Construction Management, and I'm here tonight with the President and CEO of Telecu and Telecu Industries, Michael Lasarga. We are so very happy to see all your faces here tonight at the annual DSAG dinner. During this pandemic, we have seen the importance of modifying and adjusting our traditional celebrations to ensure engagement and connection while maintaining our safety and health. We applaud DSAG for continuing to hold this event, and it is a pleasure for Telecu to participate with you once again. At Telecu and the Rossier School of Education, we know that our community's needs cannot be put on hold. They cannot be deferred to another time. To this end, we, just like you, have been working diligently to keep all of our projects and our programs moving forward. The projects that we build are critical to the maintenance of our communities. We build your schools, your fire stations, your libraries, homeless facilities, and community college classrooms. Our staff in the field are essential workers, and we stand side by side with our brothers and sisters in the grocery lines, in the delivery vans, in the classrooms, ensuring that our society continues to function despite the challenges we face. Our work at the Telecu Education Foundation, where we serve over 2,000 first-generation Latinx students with programs ranging from middle school through graduate school, are essential as well. The pandemic did not stop our scholars from their studies, just like it did not stop your work at Rossier or in the districts that you lead. Adversity is not new to our scholars. The communities that we serve have been hardest hit by the pandemic, but our communities have been hardest hit by many of the problems in our society. This is not new to us. And the tenacity and dedication that our scholars demonstrate day in and day out, facing this adversity, will carry our students to a bright future, despite the challenges that they face. The DSAG Telecu 2021 scholar, Karen Mercado, understands that overcoming challenges and confronting adversity are keys to personal growth and community development. Karen was born and raised in Southeast Los Angeles and is a first-generation Latina. Her parents are from Zacatecas and came to the United States, like so many others, to pursue the American dream. A product of LAUSD, she has spent her 22-year career at LA Unified, working as a teacher, a site administrator, and today works as the administrator of instruction in LAUSD's local District West, where the motto is building capacity, cultivating school cultures, and eliminating inequities. Karen will be a superintendent that leads by example, fights for equity and access for all, and will be unrelenting in her passion to support her students, her staff, and her community. We applaud Karen for the work she has done so far, and we are excited to stand together with her for the goals that she will accomplish in the future. Congratulations to the 2021 DSAG Telecu Scholar, Karen Mercado.
It is an honor to be the recipient of the Telecu DSAG Scholarship. As a first-generation Latinx woman, the Telecu mission resonates with me. I would like to thank Mr. Michael Lizarraga, President and CEO of Telacu, and Mr. J. Bell, Senior Vice President. I would also like to thank the DSAG donors and sponsors. Thank you, Telacu, for believing in me as I continue on my journey to implement innovative and creative solutions that address the educational disparities that exist in our community. At an early age, my mother instilled the importance of education in my three brothers and I. Gracias, mamá, por tu amor, motivación y apoyo. Te quiero mucho. The USC Rossier School of Education has provided me with the tools, but most importantly, relationships that I need to be a transformational leader. I look forward to being a superintendent that leads by example, fights for equity, engages in courageous conversations, and does whatever it takes so that all students can conquer the world. Muchas gracias, and fight on.
As chair of this scholarship endowment program, I am extremely proud of those superintendents and the dinner sponsors who have provided wonderful scholarships for these new emerging leaders we have. USC DSAG is extremely proud of these scholarship award winners, and we wish them the best of luck, knowing that they have the networking of all the superintendents that are participating in this DSAG Awards ceremony tonight. Thank you for this opportunity and best of luck to all the award winners. And again, thank you to Telacu, the dinner sponsors, and our dean.
Wow. What an amazing group of DSAG scholars. Unbelievably. Yes, let's all give them one more round of applause. My goodness, how exciting. We look forward to following your careers and know that as a member of the Trojan family, we will be with you along your journey as you become superintendents in lead school districts across California and our nation. We've now reached the portion of the program where we get to induct the newest member of the DSAG Hall of Fame. But before our honoree is formally introduced, we'd like to share a short tribute video submitted by a longtime partner, Balfour Beatty.
Dr. Franklin, congratulations on his prestigious inductment into the Hall of Fame. Working with Dr. Franklin, the impact that has made on me is just the way he carries himself professionally, the way he presents in public, his business-like attitude. I try to emulate that, and I look up to him.
Without my time with Greg Franklin, I would not be in this seat today. He prepared me for the next job, the superintendency. He allowed me to grow and thrive under his leadership. He had this great expression where he said, "Crystal, this is an opportunity to stretch," and you'd think, I don't know how I'm gonna get that task done, but somehow you'd get it done. And over, those experiences have helped me in this role as Superintendent Saddleback. He is an incredible mentor, a leader, an advocate for kids, and he is so deserving of the award.
You know, Greg Franklin, to me, is someone who is the top of the profession. When you think about people who go about their business with integrity, with wisdom, and also with wit, what a wicked sense of humor Greg has, you think about Greg Franklin. And the thing that I always tell people, and I tell my staff this, regularly, who have had a chance to meet Dr. Franklin, is when I grow up, I want to be Greg Franklin. And I think that that is fitting for the level of presence and his accomplishments in this profession and as a superintendent.
While I don't know Dr. Franklin personally, through education, through my connections and network through USC, he's always been sort of the inspiration, a very inspirational story, an inspirational educator within the USC network. And as I was going through my doctorate, the work that he did in Tustin, the work that he's done as a superintendent over many years was sort of put in front of us as a model as we started to look to the next steps in our career. And so, I just think that some of the practices and leadership that he showed in Tustin have reached people who don't know him. You know, that his legacy, if you will, is not just within his social network, but has expanded further than that, and also impacted how people are learning about leadership, particularly through the USC program, but certainly I'm sure in other areas as well.
Doc Franklin is a very, very good friend of mine. We go way back to our Santa Ana Unified School District days, where Rudy Castrita was our superintendent, and we learned an awful lot from him. And it was Greg Franklin who encouraged me to go into the SC program. We were assistant principals at Saddleback High School together, and the stories we could tell. Probably not the time or the place, but we had a wonderful time working there together, getting to know each other, our families getting to know each other. And again, he encouraged me into the program. We've been fast friends ever since, and everywhere he's touched since I've known him, over 20 years, has been outstanding. He's been a leader from district to district where he's gone. I know he's now in Tustin, and you hear nothing but rave things about Doc Franklin. Not only has his past been bright, but I know his future will be as well. And I would just like to say, fight on, Doc Franklin. Good job. We are proud of you.
Well, we have now reached the portion of the program where we induct the newest member of the DSAG Hall of Fame. And doing that induction is Wes Smith, the Executive Director of AXA, a 2005 graduate of USC, an adjunct professor, and a very proud Trojan, who will introduce this year's honoree, Greg Franklin. Please welcome Wes Smith.
Well, good evening, Trojans. Like many of you, the first time I saw Dr. Franklin, and this may blow your minds, was at a golf course. And he was wearing that big safari hat and taking swings. And I thought, there's no way that guy can be a golfer or a superintendent. And my wife will tell you, I'm often wrong. I've never been that wrong. Greg is a great golfer, and he is a transcendent superintendent. But before we talk about his leadership and influence a bit tonight, help me welcome Greg's amazing family. His wife, Debbie, daughters Megan, Kelsey, Sarah, and his mother, Donna, are here tonight. I can only imagine how proud they are of him, but I can tell you with certainty how proud he is of them. Whenever we chat, our conversations always get to family. And when he speaks about his family, he glows with pride. Greg started as a teacher, as an ESL instructor, and then a teacher at Saddleback High, where he also coached football and track. And then he was promoted to assistant principal at Saddleback High by Dr. Castrita. Dr. Castrita has this to say about Greg. The leadership, commitment, and passion to serve were all qualities that were present then as an assistant principal, as they are today as the Tustin Unified District Superintendent. Greg has turned out to be one of the best hires I have ever made. Greg, he said, you make me proud. He then became a principal at Bonita High until Dr. Escalante brought him to Fullerton High. Dr. Escalante shares that he knew he made the right decision because the folks at Bonita cried. And not tears of joy. They were really sad to see Dr. Franklin leave. Dr. Escalante then promoted him to assistant superintendent, but didn't tell him that he would remain the principal as well. The only reason he could do both jobs is because he's a great leader. Dr. Escalante said this about Dr. Franklin. Greg epitomizes the leader who has the technical skills and the soft skills necessary to get the job done. Greg is more than collaborative. He is genuinely compassionate when dealing with students and staff. He then followed Dr. Escalante to Glendale, and then his journey to superintendent at Los Alamitos and Tustin Unified School District. Nominees for this Hall of Fame are supposed to have demonstrated impact on the K-12 education field, served as mentors for future leaders, and helped advance the mission of Rossier. Few people that I know have ever had the statewide influence of Dr. Franklin. He's led DSAG, SoCal Soups, Soups Council, Soups Symposium. He's courageous, equity-minded, and student-focused, and he has a heart bigger than his personality, which isn't easy to do. Dr. Turner said this about Dr. Franklin. Greg has the unique ability to see the big picture, maintain a sense of humor, and most importantly, do what is right for students. To his core, he models and takes action that prioritizes equity for all students. Dr. Donovan said, Dr. Franklin is an exemplary leader who is a role model for all of the superintendents in Orange County and beyond. He is always willing to provide advice and address challenging issues with tact and poise. One of Dr. Franklin's employees said this, Greg not only saved my job and my career, he saved my life. That's high praise. And then Dr. Hinman, who we've heard about a little bit, he said Greg is a consummate family man, a husband and a father first. He shares a story that Greg invited him to a USC football game, had a ticket for him. And Dr. Hinman got to the gate. Dr. Franklin said, sorry, but my daughter decided she wanted to come with me, so you're out of luck. So Chuck had to walk over to the campus and watch the game on a TV. Truly a family man. They also tell a story that when they were assistant principals, they were sitting around one night, probably drinking soda or something. And they said, can you believe how lucky we are? We should pinch ourselves. Heck, we just wanted to be coaches and teachers, and here we are leading a school. Greg, I got to tell you, luck had nothing to do with it. If there's luck anywhere, DSAG and USC are lucky. Southern California superintendents and Orange County superintendents are lucky. AXA and California's 6.3 million students are lucky. Tustin Unified's 24,000 students and 2,500 employees are lucky as well. And Greg, from the bottom of my heart, I am lucky to call you friend. Trojans, family and friends, help me congratulate Dr. Gregory A. Franklin, this year's Hall of Fame honoree.
Thank you so much, Wes. You know, one of my big rules when I make presentations is leave them wanting more. I'm afraid nobody's going to want to hear the name Greg Franklin for the rest of the decade here, but this has certainly been just a really nice event for me. And it's so good every time we get together to see people like Walt Hell and the McLaughlins and people who've gone on before that we've all stood on their shoulders to do the work that we do. And it's also great to see these scholarship winners knowing that they're going to be future superintendents. I just hope they wait, they don't take my job until I'm done with it. You know, one thing at a time. We always say you can only have one superintendent at a time. It's still me so far. I also want to thank you for all saying all those nice things. I have a couple board members who actually logged on tonight, so this is good. I might not have to do an evaluation this spring. We'll see how that goes. But truly, Wes, thanks so much for that. You are a great leader in not just of schools, but of AXA. You did a super job interviewing the governor this afternoon. I sent him a text message and I said, boy, you're pointed yet gracious, and really just a super job of representing all of us and getting the governor to respond to some of our concerns. Wes is a great Trojan and a great friend. I appreciate you. I want to talk just briefly about my family. You mentioned it, Wes, but my wife, Debbie, and my mom, Donna, and my girls, Megan and her partner, Marley, and Kelsey and her husband, Colin, and my youngest daughter, Sarah. And this Zoom thing is working out for us because half of them are over in Pittsburgh and New York today. So it works out that everybody can join in. And you heard me say a lot of lady names, right? I have a lot of females in my family. And my mom has just been terrific. Raised me as a single mom from the time I was probably 1 or 2 years old. Never missed a sporting event, never missed a school event. Just strong, reliable, all the good things that you say about a parent. And then my girls, who are so smart, creative, compassionate. And it makes me think, I've heard recently criticism about some people concerned that we have Kamala Harris in the White House. I'd tell you, it's about time we get women running the thing. They're going to do great. I do want to make a mention about USC and the importance of USC in my life. In 1980, I was an undergraduate transfer student there as a sophomore. I
I thought I was going to be a college football player, but they beat that out of me at Santa Ana College. So I went to USC, and the dean of students at the orientation meeting said, look around this beautiful campus. It was very impressive for a kid from Santa Ana. You know, I'd never seen anything like that before. And he says, this is a beautiful place, but it's not USC. He said, all of you are USC. It's the people. And darn if he wasn't right. It's just been one of the best things in my life to be associated with the university and all of people like you through that association. It's truly been a satisfying relationship in my life. USC's also provided me with most of my close colleagues and mentors. It was mentioned Rudy Castrita gave me my first job in Santa Ana, which I appreciated. I actually got to be the assistant principal at the school that I graduated from. I did get to write the evaluation of Mr. Olmsted, my high school physics teacher. You know, karma is a wonderful thing sometimes, but he was actually a really excellent teacher, much better teacher than I was a student. Of course, Mike Escalante, boss and mentor for 10 years and a lifelong friend. Couldn't have done any of the stuff that I've done without his leadership and guidance. My cohort, you know, we did cohorts back at the time that I went through the EDD program in the 90s. And people like Maggie Chidester was in my cohort, Steve Fish, so many great leaders who I drew upon their expertise, friendship, and support throughout the years. And then, of course, I got to go to my first DSAG dinner in 2008 when I became superintendent in Los Alamitos. And I got to sit with Mike Kasten. Mike Kasten was the honoree that year. I'd heard stories about Mike Kasten, but here I was in the same room with Mike Kasten, getting to do the same work as Mike Kasten. And I was just in awe. And then also, you know, there's so many great people on this Zoom meeting. I wish we could be together to give everybody a hug, but Darlene Robles and Maria Ott and Helen Morgan, Tom Halverson, the McLaughlins, just on and on. It's just so great to see everybody. As an assistant soup in Glendale, we decided to run our own high school summit parallel to the state's high school summit. And here I was, I didn't know Darlene except that she was a Trojan and our county superintendent of LA, cold called her. She came down on a Saturday morning to provide a welcome. That's the kind of commitment because she knew we were trying to change the lives of kids. And that leads me to the work. I just want to talk about what we do for a minute. And Patrick Lencioni in his book, The Advantage, talks about, you know, you have to create clarity. It's the most important thing you do as a leader, create clarity, communicate clarity, over-communicate clarity. And for me, what we do is so clear. We are changing the lives of kids. If kids can be successful in our schools, they're going to have better health, better financial outcomes, happier homes, two-parent homes often. Every part of their life, every measurable part and many parts that aren't measurable will be better if we're doing our job well. And to me, that means that when they leave us, they get to decide what they do next. We don't put the limitations on them, but we're going to equip them. So if they all want to go to college, by God, they should all go. If they all want to go get trade school training, then they should go do that. But they won't be limited in their choices because we failed them. And with that clarity, it's pretty easy to do your best work. I think when I look at that clarity, I think that teachers and principals are the people that obviously that make all of that work. Mike Escalante said once, and I don't know if he'll remember having said it, but you know, people complain about teachers sometimes. Teachers are the ones who are going to fix stuff. They're the ones who actually make life better for kids. And so our job, again, find that clarity. Our job is to support the heck out of them, provide them leadership, guidance, inspiration, so that they can do the magic that they do. The second thing about our work, besides creating clarity, is getting the right people on the bus. And boy, have I been lucky with that regard. And that was such a touching video that Balfour Beatty made. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. It's great to see Crystal Turner, but I also think of people like Andrew Pulver, superintendent in Los Alamitos, Mark Johnson in Fountain Valley. so many great people that I've gotten a chance to work with who are now leading their own districts. And having those right people on the bus and putting them in positions where they can do this great work and often do it better than I could ever have dreamt of doing it. I'm so honored to have worked with each of them. Third thing I think about our work is we have to expand our tribe. Heck, we even take deans from UCLA. That's how committed we are to expanding the tribe. But there's room under the tent for everybody. And I just honestly believe that if we're all working together, we're all getting better, and that's going to be good for kids. Just today, we were notified the Orange County Superintendents won the Maureen Demarco Leadership Award, which is usually given to a board member or somebody. They gave it to the entire Orange County School District Superintendent group for the work we've done by banding together and facing COVID together, providing support and leadership. So I think that's the kind of thing that is available when we pull together. Heather McGee today at the Access Symposium, I guess it was yesterday that she spoke, shared that we all benefit when equality, opportunities, and success are enjoyed by all. We really will be better when we expand our tribe and make sure that we're all succeeding. When all this work is done, it changes not just the lives of students, but the ones who've done it. It changes our lives, and you've all changed mine. Thanks very much, and fight on.
Wow. Congratulations, Greg, on your well-deserved induction into the DSAG Hall of Fame. And I know all of us would like to right now be able to reach out and give you a big hug, a slap on the back, a kiss on the cheek. And we can't wait for safer times when we can gather in person and formally congratulate you. Now, I'll do it on the golf course in the coming week, but for everyone else, we'll look forward to seeing us all in person. And in the meantime, Greg, I hope you enjoy the congratulatory messages that were submitted by fellow DSAG members and printed in the back of tonight's program.
Thank you.
I'd also like to again congratulate the 2021 DSAG scholars. As you mentioned, Greg, they represent the future, and the future for children in California is very bright. And I'd like to thank our incredibly loyal partners and their continuing contributions to education in California. And to all of you, thank you for attending tonight's DSAG Awards. Stay safe, stay healthy, get your vaccination, and fight on.